Tonight, we're going to talk all about Universal. So many things happening right now with Universal. We're going to talk about Super Mario World is opening up in Hollywood Studios. Talk about that and a whole bunch more tonight on ParksCenter. Welcome to ParksCenter for January 22nd, 2022. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Thank you, as always, for being with us. The business out of the way. If you have not already, please subscribe to WDWNT TV, and please give this video a thumbs up as it helps people to find us. Now, as you may have seen from the thumbnail, this is an all-Universal episode. Very rare that we do that. We do cover Universal parks, and we do cover Disney parks. Today was the end of Splash Mountain. We're all feeling different things about that one. So Splash Mountain and Disney World closed. But you probably heard too much about that today. There was a lot of other stuff that happened in Disney news. The Epcot signs, the Star Cruiser cancellations, the Disney 100 signs, the return of Belle and Ariel to their meet and greets, and the Lunar New Year beginning. But we really felt like there was more Universal stuff than we could possibly cover in just a segment. So tonight, we've assembled a team. We put together a crew, and we're going to be talking about Universal, starting with our good friend Annie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Very excited to talk Universal, and I know that you've got lots of cool things to share with us. And our Universal fangirl, Alicia, how are you?
So ready to talk about Universal. Love it.
And then in the darkness down there in the corner is our good friend Charlie from the West Coast. How are things, Charlie?
Pretty good. I'm overexposed and ready to go.
That's the way we love it. We love to see you overexposed and ready to go. I'm not good with that. Again, the reason we went and did a Universal show is Annie and I had been talking about some stuff that we needed to cover, and things that were happening in Orlando, and then all of a sudden there's Super Nintendo World stuff that happened, and we want to talk about that. And then, of course, they dropped a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of different news stories about things that are coming very soon, or at least in the future, for Universal. And we were like, you know what, let's just talk about it all. So we're going to start with a discussion. Our first discussion is going to be about Super Nintendo World. It is, as I like to say here, technically open. You get it? You get the joke? So there was yeah, thank you. So they, Disney, we call it soft open, but at Universal, I guess they call it a technical rehearsal. I did one for the Bourne stunt show, the Stuntacular, when that opened up. And it was really cool because I was like, hey, this isn't supposed to be open yet. Here I go. I get to experience this. But the trick is that if for some reason something goes wrong, they're like, oh, we told you this was just a rehearsal, so you're going to have to deal with it. But the technical stuff aside, Annie, I'm going to start with you and then we'll go down to Charlie. You actually flew out specifically to cover this event, and I can't imagine you weren't just ecstatic.
Oh, it was great. It was great. Thursday, it was a Thursday that it soft opened, or technical rehearsals, and I was on a plane Thursday evening. I was in California Thursday night, and I was rope dropping the park Friday morning. And it was an amazing time. I mean, mind blown. I can't wait to see it come here. I'm actually sad because I'm like going through withdrawals. Like, I'm thinking about some of the food I had at Toadstool Cafe. Like, oh man, it's going to be a while before I get that again. And I just, I'm so impressed by how immersive the land is. I could go on and on, so just cut me off now.
Well, okay, we'll do that, but before we move on to anything else, we have already gotten a super chat tonight from our good friend William K99. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. We love a good Universal reference. Thank you, William, for the super chat. We appreciate you. So one of the things that I look at with this, Annie, is that we thought we were going to get one of these a long time ago in Florida. We thought that they were going to shut down the Kid Zone, which we'll talk about later. And I saw all kinds of maps and drawings and things that people had put together about, like, hey, this is actually something that could come to Orlando. Like, before we heard about Osaka, before we heard about Hollywood, like, this was something I was like, I'm packing my bags and ready to go. Maybe it'll be open in 2023. That was, of course, before we found out about that COVID thing. But, Alicia, I see you down there nodding your head about that. You also were excited about that, I suppose, since you have better access to Universal Orlando than you do Osaka or Hollywood.
little bit more, yeah. I mean, I have been to Japan, but that was once, and I can't count how many times I've been in Florida. Um, I don't know, I remember when those rumors were fluttering about, and I was just like, Super Nintendo World? Like, I am a Mario queen. I've been playing Mario since I was like 4 or 5 years old. I need this in my life. And then, of course, Osaka gets it, and then the whole COVID thing happens. I'm like thrilled that we're getting it in Florida. I'm sad that it's going to take as long as it is, but we are going to get a little bit of an extended version, it sounds like there, whereas, California's kind of is what it is at the moment. So I mean, I'm super stoked. I will be going out to California to see it because I need to. It has to happen in my life. I need to experience what Annie and Charlie have experienced. I need to walk down the warp tunnel, and I need to be in the Mushroom Kingdom. And like, I feel like what's so great about that, right, is like we always complain about Disney with like sight lines, and we're like, we can see this from over here. Mushroom Kingdom, you're like in it. Like, you're with Mario and his friends, and you see Bowser's castle, and that's like it. And I'm like, this is what I need in my life.
Yep, absolutely. And before we talk about that, what? Jungle Cruiser coming out of the gate here, of course, early on. Thank you, Jungle Cruiser, for the super chat. What do they call wearable bands at Universal for Nintendo? I think the boss man's in chat because he immediately answered power-up bands. So, yes, and I know that Annie and Charlie both have some to share with us tonight. So, Annie, I'm going to come to you first on this one. Show me what you got there. Ooh, that's Princess Peach.
Yes, I had a hard time picking between Peach and Yoshi, but I went with Peach because pink's my favorite color, so I figured I would wear the pink better. So
nice. And Charlie, you
slap bracelets that don't slap all the way, but
very nice. And Charlie, you've got one as well with you?
I got the Yoshi dinosaur egg one.
Nice. And Charlie, you got to go experience the technical rehearsal as well.
Yeah, I was there. I was actually in Disney California Adventure doing food reviews when I got the call, hey, we need you to run. So I drove up to Universal right away and got in there. And it was mostly bloggers who were in it. Hey, cool.
Yeah, how about that?
It was mostly bloggers who were there. Like this was day one. There was hardly anybody there. There weren't lines for everything all the time. It was just me and everybody else who usually runs and covers these things. And now the word has gotten out. Now it's getting a little crazier. We had some rain recently, so that kept the crowds down. But now that we have nice weather again, I'm seeing other people in the parks at preview events and other things, and it just looks like a huge cluster now. So we were very fortunate that the first couple of days were really slow and really chill. 20-minute wait on the ride, and you could just blast through everything. I got to do all the games and the Bowser baby shadow, whatever. And like, it felt more accessible and like a playground. Was I funny? I think it's better when there are fewer people. With the lines that there's going to be, it's going to be a lot less spontaneous and a lot more difficult to access everything. So we were both very fortunate to get to it before word really got out and it got swamped.
Yeah. So, you know what, in general, here's the question I have, though, is that these technical rehearsals came up, but we heard this on the verge of, we had heard that they're going to start doing these pass holder previews, which everybody signed up for pass holder previews, and I believe that they start, if you had one, I don't have one, but I believe they start on the 29th of January because the park doesn't actually officially, or the land doesn't officially open until February 17th, unless I'm wrong on that one. Yeah, that's correct. So when we got the people who are pass holders who have like said, hey, I'm going to be one of the first ones there, and then they decide to just drop the rope and let every Tom, Dick, and Harry in there. I mean, like, does that drive you crazy, Charlie, as somebody who I assume is a pass holder?
I am a pass holder, but like, I'm thinking of it more from a coverage angle of like, I want to get as much as I can out of the way for the website. I want to get the best shots and the best videos and everything. So to do this surprise opening, it did limit who was free to go. So I think our coverage was better there than it would have been at the pass holder preview, where everyone planned, hey, this is a Sunday, I know I'm coming in for this. You know, so from a coverage angle, I prefer this because of the ease of being able to navigate the land. As a fan, I think I would probably be a little upset, thinking, you know, this is supposed to be special for me, and I want to have the perks of being a pass member, and then to just drop it for anybody who happens to be in the park might be a little bit of a shot in the arm. You know.
Yeah. So you beforehand sent me some photos, and I've got a couple of them here. We showed one, but let's take a look at some of these other ones here. These are pictures that you took day one, is that right?
Yeah. So yeah, this is day one, and I was incredibly fortunate to be able to do this as they were shutting down the land, because I had been in there for several hours. As they were shutting down the land, they cut off access through the warp pipe. So I talked to them, and they were like, yeah, it's open, go ahead, shoot whatever. So a few of us got to walk in, but like one at a time. So I got completely unfettered access to the entryway and the warp pipe and everything, and it was great. And this is, as I was talking about, the rain chased away a lot of the crowds. This is also towards closing, but as you can see, it's still, even at towards closing, it's not that crowded because it was rainy and terrible. And like nobody in LA wants to deal with water falling from the sky. So like everybody went home, and we'll just wait. Like there's nothing cool enough to make me deal with rain except for, you know, us. So we had a really great opportunity to get some good shots of the land and be able to see it. Like I said, for the coverage, that's really the most important thing for me. So
yeah, and
it was a really nice time.
Is that an authentic Mario like caution wet floor sign? Is that what I'm seeing there?
That one actually, so they have a really cute banana one. It looks like a banana peel. And they have that out in the Mario store in the upper lot. And I was like, what a great idea, because I also have a themed one for Harry Potter with a witch slipping and falling. And so then they had a themed one for Super Nintendo. And like, I just love those little touches. That's so cute and clever. And then when it was this rainy and everything, they just didn't bring it down from upstairs. So it was just a normal cone, but hopefully for the future.
Yikes. All right, let me ask you.
Hold on. I want to talk about something real quick. So, like, I know Annie and Charlie, you both got pictures of this, but, like, the level of theming in there, like, between, like, we were talking about with the caution sign, the banana peel, but, like, the stanchions, like, everything is themed where, like, aside from, like, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, I don't always associate Universal with having the greatest theming. I mean, like, look at something like Fast and Furious, where it's just, like, meh, it's a garage. But, and I know, sorry, Annie, I know you love
an authentic garage.
An authentic garage, right? But like then you walk in there and like the stanchions and like just every little thing, and they put so much detail into it. It just makes my heart so happy.
Annie, you want to talk about that?
I agree with you. I noticed the stanchions too, and just every little thing, like the wait time sign is a star. The trash cans have like the little banana peels on them. The windows in Toadstool Cafe, each one is different, and so there's like different scenes. So one, you're like looking into the kitchen, and they're all like cooking, and things happen, and just so much like to immerse you in it. Upstairs, there's these AR binoculars. You can like look out onto the land, and you can actually see people that are walking in the land, but then the like Nintendo characters go through the scene as well, and just so many little details, like you said, and just when you walk in, just everything. I mean, just you're just small in the center of like the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, before we go any further, we have to do this. Don't you love that? I do. We used to use that on News Tonight for March Madness, and I was like, you know what? This is a good one to point out when somebody is kind enough to drop a super chat. And here we have another one from Jungle Cruiser. Hey, Charlie, the only thing that I will stand in the rain for is a Disneyland candy cane. So, Jungle Cruiser, we appreciate you as always.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, you know, one of the things that I worry about with this is the same thing I worried about when those Disney folks opened up Batuu, is that I want to experience this, but I want to experience it like at my own pace, leisurely, walk around, enjoy it, and not feel like shoulder to shoulder bumped, knocked around, can't get into anything, kind of like Wizarding World, have to wait behind 8 other people who are going to swish their wand first. Like all of that stuff. I'm worried about once the park opens, because I know, Alicia, you said you were ready to go down or go out like immediately and experience it. But I mean,
oh God, I was ready to pack my bags the day technical rehearsal started. I was like, can I get off of work? And then I was like, California is so far.
It is, isn't it? It's too bad, except for Charlie, who's in it. Charlie, I mean, what do you think's going to happen with the crowds? Do you is it right now? Is it bad, or is it something? Do you think it's going to get super bad?
It's bad already. A buddy of mine, all the California, like the big California Instagrammer, blogger people, like we all know each other, we all follow each other and stay in touch and everything. And there was somebody who was in today on his story showing it all off, and I was running around with him day one and we were having a great time, and now he's just kind of standing there shooting everything, and like it's a nightmare. I think it was in yesterday. It's so crowded, the lines are so long, and the fun of this land is the spontaneity of like you get your mission and then you have to run over and do one game and then you got to go do another and collect all these things, and you want to see it all, and yeah, you have to wait in a little bit of a line, but like 5-10 minutes when I was there, it was hardly anything. Now the lines are like snaking through the land and wrapping through the decorations and everything. And when you wait in that half-hour line to get up and do a game that's essentially just cranking a wheel, you're going to be disappointed at the end of it, or like to stand there and see the effect. And I don't want to give away what anything is, but like you stand there and you tap your band and you see the effect. You've seen it 50 times by the time you make it to the front of the line. And so I think that's going to take away some of the specialness from it. Like waiting in line for the ride, it's great. If you need to wait 3 hours, you wait 3 hours. It's awesome. But a lot of the interactivity of the land, I think, is going to be cheapened by the waiting, which is just, the nature of the beast. And so you're just going to have to wait a couple of years until things start to slow down, kind of like Harry Potter, where you have to wait to use your wand on the windows, and it takes away that immersive feel of being able to walk through and like, I'm a wizard, and like, run around. You're like, I'm in line again and again and again and again. And then you just want to leave. There's so much else to do at the park. And if you're a local like me and you just want to like go in for a day, you probably get it out of the way once, and then you're not going to wait in line again. And if you are from out of town, you don't want to spend your whole time waiting in line for this thing that's, like a little mini game. And so I don't think it will really work for anyone when it gets that crowded. So,
yeah. Annie, and again, to kind of piggyback what you're on the saying, Charlie, is we don't want to do any spoilers. Like I honestly always walk that line with attractions between, I want to talk about it when we, with everyone, but at the same time, I want to be able to experience a lot of it fresh. So we are going to try to avoid some certain spoilers. But Annie, I know that we have this on the website for the power-up bands and the ones that are available, and a spoiler-free guide to them. What can you tell us about the power-up experience in addition to what Charlie's already said that you had, again, without ruining anything for anybody?
I had a lot of fun with it. You can, check your score against other people in the park, against other people you're with in your party, and it works with the ride. So if you ride the ride over and over, you can collect coins from that. And I think it's a really fun thing, but I do agree with Charlie on the fact that, if you're standing in line for these things and you're seeing it over and over and over before your turn, it kind of, takes away from the experience. Now, the first, obviously, days that I was there, it was amazing. There was nobody. I mean, there were nobody at any of the games, so just could walk up and had no clue what they were or what, I didn't see someone else play them before I experienced them. So it was probably a different experience than other people will get in the land, and same thing with the wands, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's worth buying them. I believe that they're also amiibo things, whatever, for the game. Yeah, somebody knows.
Switch, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can someone told me what that is? What is an amoeba?
You don't know? No, not amoeba. Amiibo.
Not
wait
amoeba.
a minute. Wait,
with an
I'll let
amiibo.
Alicia go, but I'll let Alicia go because she knows as well as I do. But I got questions about that.
No, I want to talk about an amiibo real quick. We're not in Finding Nemo. There's no animities. The amiibos work with your Nintendo Switch, so like you can go and like let's talk about Best Buy because you can guide them from there. You can get like a little Mario figure, or, you know, someone from Smash Bros. Or, you know, Zelda, whatever, and you can link them with your Switch, and then you get something with it. So like sometimes you get the character or whatever. In Mario Kart, you can get like an outfit or something. So they work with your Switch.
Huh.
Yeah.
So
So a
okay.
lot of people take the amiibos out and they use them as little like decorative figurines. Like I've got a ton on my desk at work, but it's a cool little feature. And
So
we have a
I
Switch and we use it all
okay.
the time.
I got a question about that because I've got one like right here in my hand.
Yeah, Paper
This was the
Mario.
anniversary one, the 8-bit one.
Cute.
And so yeah, so the funny thing about amiibos is that you have to take them out of the package to make them work,
Yes.
which is kind of mean for somebody like me that likes to collect things and not take them out of the package. But there's
Yeah.
something underneath it that you can't put it on your console unless that's the case. So they started. I feel like they started maybe with the Wii or the Wii U.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it was the Wii U.
yeah, and then they work with the Switch, and so there are some games like you could go into a Zelda game and like get extra loot if you put your amiibo down. So it's just kind of like what the parks are doing, like with these power up bands, is you have to pay for something else cool so that you can be above somebody else in the park. That's kind of what this is. And are you saying? But I mean, here's something I haven't heard. Are you saying that these can work in the parks?
No, it's the
I
bands can
No.
work as an amiibo, so it's like
Oh,
the
oh, gotcha.
opposite. Yeah,
I was about
yeah.
to say I'm
And
about to pack a bag full of these things and just bring them down because
No.
I've got about 30. So.
And I don't know what the band does in particular. I haven't wanted to do it to spoil for myself because I know I'm gonna buy one and I'm gonna link it immediately when I get home. So I don't want to know what it does, but it does work.
I feel like there was something like that, either Magic Bands maybe that worked with Disney Infinity. That there was
Oh.
something that you would get that same way. So, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, there was something in the park that you could get. I think it was a Magic Band that you would be able to touch it the same way those discs worked in Disney Infinity. Man, people are smart. Take my money, take it again and again.
Nintendo
So
is not messing around, man. Like they're geniuses.
right when they made this announcement way back when that there was a partnership with Universal again, like we talked about earlier, we thought we were getting something in Florida. Now, obviously, that's coming to Epic Universe instead. We got the stuff in Japan that we got to see, and this is a little bit different than the one in Japan. Annie, I know that you've studied a lot of the comparisons between the two. Other than the Yoshi attraction, is there anything else that we're missing in Hollywood that they have in Japan?
Ooh, I think there's, you know what, I'm not even sure. We didn't get the Yoshi snack stand, the Yoshi Island snack stand thing.
But we
I
wait.
honestly,
We got this though.
yes,
You want to talk about
yes,
this?
Cute.
I do, I do. I couldn't wait for that part. Although I'm a little bitter we didn't get the Yoshi ride here. But
Yeah.
this is Toadstool Cafe, and it is so cool. The food is so good, and they didn't even have the full menu, but obviously I ate everything that was on that menu, and it was so much fun. Everything was so cute. They have little like the toothpick things in the food, or the hats and the little flags and things like that, and just everything was cute. And
Yeah,
I'm sad that I don't live there right now because those
Yeah,
are so good.
I know that when you were there and you and Arlo did a report for with all the food, and that's available on universalparksnewstoday.com, but also on YouTube. But when I was looking at the food and like the Mario burger with the mustache and all this stuff, the one thing that I was pretty impressed about, I think Charlie actually has one in his hand, was the power-up box that was a cookie.
Yeah, so I actually haven't eaten at the restaurant because I walked in and saw how long it was going to take. This is day one, and there was so much to cover. And my buddy was like, yeah, I've been here 45 minutes. So he gave me a cookie, and he gave me the little Mario stick to bring home to my son. And
Your
I
son,
haven't
right? He'll
eaten,
never see
so-
it.
No, well, I offered it to him, on the rare occasions when he's good enough to have a cookie. I offered it to him, and he was like, how about a red vine? So I told him I'm going to eat it. But when you open the little box, it's a coin. Let's see there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
I
it's
need this in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this a
So,
food review? Are you going to eat that cookie right now?
I think it is. I think I'm going to do it.
What? Oh my
It's
God.
been sitting here
Confirm that it's
staring at me.
Oreo.
This is my first bit of food from Toadstool Cafe.
I wish I could zoom in right
Oh,
now.
Annie, mine's different
Right.
than yours.
Is it not an Oreo?
Nope.
I knew it.
It's not
I knew
good
it was
either.
going to be different.
It's not
I
good
knew it
either.
was going to be different. Oh,
Oh.
saw somebody- okay.
So wait, I'm gonna have to.
Okay, when you,
I'm sorry.
This
I
is
have
an
to do
exclusive.
for the
This is
website
an
'cause it's
exclusive
different.
right now. Wow. Wow.
We're
Yeah.
breaking the game.
I saw your pictures.
Unboxing.
I thought it was an Oreo, but mine is like a Nilla
my
wafer.
wife- Is it?
Oh,
What is it?
he says like a Nilla wafer, and he also said it's not good. So there you go.
Well, the wafers aren't particularly the
Yeah,
best
so-
cookie available. Let's be
Fire
real here.
Fire Chief 66 says
There you
try it
go.
with the pesto.
Okay.
You can. Okay.
Yeah, it's a Nilla wafer cookie.
Pesto.
So I guess a
The
little bit
pesto.
different.
I was in the store looking for pesto today. I've been thinking about it a lot.
You're jonesing. So here's some more of it. Again, everything is plated beautifully. I heard Tom say on the Universal Parks News today that his precious mushroom soup was not on the menu as of yet, but was supposed to be.
Yeah, they said it's supposed to be coming on opening day, along with a couple other items. And obviously now we need to know what's going on with these cookies, because I don't know.
Cookie Gate, man. Cookie Gate.
Yes, exactly. There's scandal
Yep.
on the cookie front. All right. Well, Charlie,
Maybe
thanks for
that's what
sacrificing
maybe
that cookie.
That's what the mystery is. Maybe that's why it's a mystery box. Could be a mystery.
That's what it is.
So cute.
You know what? If it would have like a green mushroom for a one-up, or if it would have like multiple cookies sometimes, but only one other times, then I'd be on board with that. I think that
I'd
if it was
cry,
always
and I'd
something
never
Or
different.
get like an extra little toy or something,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So the food, we love the food. Annie, we're thumbs up on that. And how was the experience of getting in, getting it ordered? What time did you go? What other nightmares did you hear? Was it all positive?
The days that I was there were great. Walked right in, no problem. They have you wait in line, then you'll place your order. Then a hostess will take you, like a host or a hostess will take you to your seat, and they bring you your food. So you just have a little table number thing on the edge of your table, the tracker, and so they bring you your food right to your table. So it's really easy, which as people that review food, I'll tell you, juggling plates of multiple, things is not easy. So ordering an entire menu and just sitting down and having it brought to you was, life-changing. But
Yep.
Now I think that you need to put your name and leave a phone number for a reservation to come back, because I believe there's a wait to get in now. Again, the land is getting more crowded. People are starting to find out. When we went, it was not known, or a lot of people hadn't, made the trip out yet. So I believe that now it's going to require you to, leave your name and come back at a later time. So I think somebody posted that they had an hour wait maybe to get seated. So I guess if you're going to go put your name on the list as soon as you get in the land, then go do the ride, go do the games, then, you're good to go.
Right. So one more thing about the food is I just have to show this, because this was one of my favorites, was the Mario burger with the mustache and the little hat. I know you had the little hat stick, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that's freaking adorable. How are the fries?
food was
Are they
so
crispy?
good.
Were they crispy?
They're seasoned. They got truffle seasoning on them.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, everything about this place, I've tried to avoid too many spoilers. I know there's video kind of, we'll talk about toothsome later, Charlie, but video on the walls with the, with Toad in the kitchen and all that kind of stuff that we've seen from the Japan one. But I am excited that this is actually on this continent where we could actually go see this. And Alicia, what?
This is absolutely not something I would ever expect to have on it, like in America. It's too highly themed. Like I spent a lot of time in Japan eating in like all of these like ridiculously like
Cowboy
intricate
Bebop
themed.
Cafe.
Yeah, I mean actually yes,
Oh, what?
but yes, actually. But like I mean just like even when I was in Disney, you know, like everything there is just so beautiful and they take all this time and like the restaurant interior and with the food and the plating and the presentation, then you come to America and like it just even places that are highly themed, even in, you know, theme parks, they aren't meeting that quality. This meets that quality. And that's why I think I'm so excited to see just like a little bit of that make its way over. And maybe other, you know, parks will kind of start to take that and like use it and kind of, you know, bring it into their spaces because I think it would be great.
Yeah, this is one of those that, like you said, I would not expect to. If somebody showed me this plate, I would have said, "Oh, that's clearly in Japan right now.
Oh,
This is not
absolutely. Yeah.
something, yeah, that is on this continent because we don't do
Yeah.
things like that." But apparently now we do, and
No.
that's exciting.
It
One last
is.
thing to talk about in Atlanta. I know we're kind of running over how much time we allotted for this, but I think this is what we were all excited about, and I'm glad that we have some people who have been and you know some super fans and all that kind of stuff. Is the attraction? And again, I want to say I don't want to get any spoilers from this one, but you know you can go to the website. You can go to universalparksnewstoday.com and you can see pictures again on YouTube and on the website. We have videos. But Annie, you've ridden this attraction. Spoiler-free review.
I loved it. I loved it. I try not to look at things. So I try not. I didn't watch any of our. I'm sorry, I didn't watch our Japan content because I knew I wanted to experience it, and it's hard for me, you know, as the reporter because I want to be surprised by things, but so many things I have to know something going in. So like I really didn't know too much about the ride, so I was just blown away. I know that a lot of people may have opinions, but it might be one of my new favorite rides. I could do it over and over all day. And on top of the spoiler free thing, I did do a spoiler free TikTok short on our YouTube channel. And I think it's a reel on our Instagram that kind of shows you the test seat and kind of shows you um, the system before you get on the ride and but doesn't spoil the actual ride if you guys want to see that because I know a lot of people are kind of curious about, you know, like again, I want to know things, but I don't want the actual experience ruined for me. So,
Yep,
but
no, agree.
it might be one of my new favorite rides ever.
Is that seat comfortable?
I didn't, I wasn't uncomfortable.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't notice any discomfort at all for me personally. I think having something on your head is more strange than the seat. I feel like you'll focus more on being like, oh, you know, that it's not
Sure.
uncomfortable on your head either, but just
Right. Okay.
the seats are deep. There's almost like a step down into the vehicle, and you do have like a lap bar that does have to be touching you, but the seats are pretty deep.
So one of the things that the website says is that if you have a 40-inch or higher waist, don't bother because you can't get on this thing. Do you think that they're just being overly cautious with that?
Yeah, I'd say just give the test seat a go. I mean, it's there for you to try. You know, no shame, no judgment. Nobody really is paying any attention. So, you know, if you're ever concerned, just go give it a shot. You know, I mean, the green light, ask a team member. They're usually really, really accommodating and helpful. So, you know, I wouldn't look at the seat and immediately assume no. I would say give it a shot. I think a lot of people with Velocicoaster the same thing. People saw the vehicles and they thought there's no way, and you'd be surprised. So I say just give it a shot.
Gotcha. Okay. And real quick, we have another super chat, $10 from Movie Parks and Things with Johnny. Give me Donkey Kong and Fast and Furious coasters and Diagon Alley next, and Universal Studios Hollywood will be complete for me. Uh, thank you so much. We appreciate the super chat. Yeah, you know what? That's the weird thing about Universal Studios Hollywood. If you've been there, is when you get there, it's a weird layout. It's the strangest theme park layout in the history of theme park layouts, because you've got that 82 escalators down the side of the mountain to get to the lower lot, and then you've got the Universals. What?
The escalators. I had
Oh
no
yeah.
concept of that. Sorry.
It's crazy, right?
I'm triggered.
And then it allowed Charlie, as he would go out and get updates for us for the website, some great sightline, right up front down the hill, to be able to see the construction as it was happening. So it's a very strange layout of a park. It seems very hodgepodge. I think the original concept was it's just a studio, like a legitimate studio that had a tour, which then, as theme park studios became a bigger thing, they expanded and expanded, and now it is actually become a legit destination for theme parks with City Walk and all the stuff that's there. Charlie, was there? Did you get a chance to do the attraction or no?
Oh yeah, yeah. I did
What?
it day one, first thing when I walked in, and then when I went back the second time with Annie and Arlo in the rain, we did it like 5 or 6 times in a row. Like, we just kept getting off and getting back on, and like, it was a great time. It was nice to, because I usually, when I go through the park, I don't go on the rides because I don't want to wait. I just want to get the coverage and stuff. And so it was nice to just go on the ride and experience it, to be able to soak it in and talk about it, at length like this. So we went on it a lot, and it was a lot more fun when you're riding it than when you're covering it.
I can imagine. That's the case. Sometimes it's good to just go experience something for the fun of it, right? And because we all sort of, well, especially you guys, cover theme parks on a daily basis. I'm sure that Alicia can't wait to actually do a food and wine festival or anything like that without actually having to report on it.
Yeah, even like I've flown down before to like help with festival coverage, and I'm so excited to go to like Festival of the Arts next month and just like eat and not like worry about anything. And I'm like, I'm just gonna get my Figment popcorn bucket, eat food, drink, and move on with my life. It'll be great.
Right. Well, and let's talk about, before we move on from this topic, I want to ask about popcorn buckets and sippers, because up till now, I've been able to only keep my habit in the Disney world of popcorn buckets and sippers and problems. And it looks like Annie's about to try to flex a little bit here. Is that what's happening? Wow. What is that one?
This one's it's a Jurassic Cup, but it's what I was drinking out of. I got that
Okay.
at
All
Hollywood.
right. All right.
I got that
That's
at
nice.
Hollywood. That was. But
Now, do we have a popcorn bucket yet out there? I know that there were a bunch of cool ones in Japan.
there's the Star, but I think they're getting the Mario Kart one eventually. I think.
I have my.
Oh, all right. Let's see.
We got a pair.
Here we go, and then we got the little tag.
That is a extra
So when
thick
it
lanyard.
when it opened in Japan, I begged Spencer and I said, I've done so many things for you and I love you so dearly. Please do anything. And he was like, do you want 1-Up or mushroom? So I asked for mushroom. Next thing I know, he's on my doorstep. So
Well, the
you.
Star,
Now,
the 1-Up.
Here's the thing.
Go
Let me
ahead.
throw out about those sippers. Either one of you, grab the sipper, open it up. Let's see it.
Oh yeah.
You ready to see the most horrifying
I've
thing
never
you've ever seen in
opened
your
mine.
entire
I
life?
actually-
No, it's so
I
weird.
don't know how to do
Wait.
this.
It's
Wait.
deeply unsettling.
Is it? How do you even
Yep.
open it? Oh,
Looks
is
like
that
an
how
upside down Lego head.
Wait, no.
So
So actually,
bothersome.
this is a Mario thing. This is a controversy in the Mario community. There's a big debate if Toad's head is actually a head or if it's a hat. And the general consensus is that it's a head, so this is accurate.
Wow.
There's your Mario knowledge for
Yeah,
today.
it's very weird without.
Nice. Okay, we also have again, I have been the Grinch popcorn bucket. I thought was really cool. The Minions stuff. I don't love Minions, but some of the Minions popcorn buckets have been cool. And so like I've been able to keep it at bay. But I can't imagine the day that I walk into Super Nintendo World that I won't need all the sippers and popcorn buckets that are available. So. Yeah, that's a cool thing. So one more super chat that we just got here, again from Parks and Things with Johnny. Please, Universal also get rid of the Simpsons land. Let Disney have it. Well, I don't think Disney actually wants it, but it's a fun little thing. But yeah, I mean, if they took that space, and Charlie was talking beforehand about Avengers Campus, and he's ready for them to shut down all of DCA and just make it all Avengers. If they would, expand it that way, I think based on how we all feel about Mario and Super Nintendo World, I'm ready for you to do the same thing with Universal Studios Hollywood. Let's just put everything out there. Maybe let's keep Wizarding World, and then let's just make everything else Nintendo. I think that's fair, right? Can we do that? Unless you're willing to bring Back to the Future. I'm going to stand by that one.
Back to the Future Land.
I would do that. So let's get final thoughts here on Super Nintendo World. I'm going to start with Alicia first, and just get your thoughts, because I know you're just ready to get out there and try this out. But what are your thoughts overall from what you've seen?
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to go. I'm excited to see what it evolves into. I'm more excited to see what Florida ends up getting. But I'm ready for it to open, and I'm glad that this is an IP that Universal worked to get and then actually made a really good product out of it. They didn't skimp. I don't think that, they did it cheaply. And I'm excited to see kind of where we go from here and what other IPs we could possibly get after that.
I think you're saying spared no expense. Isn't that the phrase, Annie? What are your thoughts?
I was blown away with how themed it was. Universal's really just killing it. And I think one thought that just kept kind of going through my head, and maybe it's just me, but when I walked into Super Nintendo World and the colors and the animation and everything, that's what I think I expected Toy Story Land to be like when that opened at Hollywood Studios, and that was just like a barren wasteland kind of feel to it, versus like this is what I expect from a theme park land opening. And Hollywood's a small park, it's a small land, but Epic Universe is coming, huge, opportunities there. I cannot wait to see what we get when we have, unlimited space to work with, for our new park. So things are coming. Other theme parks need to step up their game, and we can all be the winners. But, for now, Team Peach.
Yep. Okay. And Charlie?
It was cool. I don't really do a whole lot of Nintendo stuff, so even as a non-diehard fan, it's still just a fun place to be. I think they did a great job, and also kudos to Annie and Arlo for some great coverage. We have videos, we have spoiler-free reviews. My photo report is very spoiler-heavy, so it's got some great photos in it, but it does have spoilers. We've got a whole bunch of stuff online, so just take a look at everything, and we hope you enjoy it.
Yep, absolutely. And thank you guys for covering it and for talking about it. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and we're going to run through some parks news, because there's still a lot more Universal news to talk about. And then at the end, we're going to talk about the future. So we're going to try to keep it moving along. But we appreciate you being here with us. Thank you guys so much. And hang tight. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Deep in the Plus. Each week, join host Rob Whiteside as he and a panel of Disney superfans take a different movie or TV show from the Disney Plus catalog. They'll tell you its history, details, and give their review, so you'll know if it's worth your time. Current shows, classic movies, and everything in between. Watch Deep in the Plus live Wednesday nights at 9 Eastern for new episodes, or catch Deep in the Plus anytime on YouTube. on WDWNT TV.
This program is brought to you by WIGS, the WDWNT Inner Globe Society. Support WDWNT to get early and exclusive access to content you can't find anywhere else, including exclusive post shows for WDW News Tonight and ParksCenter, access to our prize wall, a monthly Zoom with Tom, access to our Discord community, early access to our events, and much more, starting at just $2 per month. For more information, visit patreon.com/WDWNT or visit WDWNT.com and click the Patreon link. Join WIGS and unlock even more WDWNT.
Again, welcome back to ParksCenter. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you just joined us, we are doing an all-Universal show tonight. We started out talking about Super Nintendo World. We're going to talk about some parks news, and then we are going to talk about some huge announcements that came up this week. So again, if you have not already, please subscribe to WDWNT TV, and please make sure to like this video so other people can find it. So moving into parks news, one of the things that came up this week, and I just went through and looked at basically the stuff that I thought was cool, and talk about it. One of the things is Marvel meals. We have seen a return, or we're going to see the return of the superhero character dining, which we don't have that in any other, like in any of the Disney realms. So it's really kind of a neat thing. Now it's at the Cafe 4, which I love the fact that the guidebook says, tell your hunger it's clobbering time. That's the description about this place when you go in there. But I actually did this meal the last time. I think it was pre-COVID, because I think it hasn't come back since COVID. But I went there with my son, who is grown, but again, we're both children. And we went in, and he got his picture with Spidey, and Storm came around to the table, and it was just like, what? This is kind of awesome. Now it's in basically like a cafeteria, because it's like, you know, the food is what it is. It's in the Cafe 4. But I am pretty excited about this coming back, and I wanted to ask Annie, like, I assume you've done this at some point, and it seems like you haven't.
No, I've never done it, because it's been since before COVID, you know, since it hasn't been back. So
I gotcha. Okay.
You know, it was just never something that I had done. You know, when you're local, you know, some of these things you just keep putting off, like, oh, I'll do it when people visit another time, and then, you know, then it's gone for 3 years.
Yeah, that's true. Now, Charlie, I know that, would this be something that your son would be into, or would you leave him at home and go by yourself?
Both. He would be very into it, but if he doesn't behave, you're sitting in the car because Daddy's going to meet Storm. Like, he's a Marvel fanboy because I'm a Marvel fanboy, and so we used to have a restaurant out here called Marvel Mania at Universal Studios Hollywood that was like a bigger, better version of this, and Marvel characters would come through, and it was my favorite place when I was a kid, and they shut it down. So if we could get even a tiny reflection of that back here, I would be forever grateful.
So it looks like this comes back on February 9th. You can have dinner with Cap and Spidey. You know, to me, again, it could have gone bad. It could have been cheesy. But I remember when I saw it, they had this like red carpet, like the velvet rope in front of it, almost like they had a bouncer alone. Yeah, are you on the list? Yes, you're on the list. You may enter, eat some pizza and pasta, and hang out with Captain America. Like, I don't know. It was kind of, I mean, again, I sort of geeked out on this. I get that we're in the Disney side going for like the realism of like it's Avengers Campus, and you know you're there and you're meeting these people, you know, in an actual environment that is theirs, as opposed to you know, them walking around a Golden Corral. But it is really one of those things where I wasn't really sure what I was going to get, and then I went into it, and it's like $50. It's not like a back-breaking amount of money compared to what we see at the up the road. So I mean, I don't know if this is something you've done, Alicia, or is it something you would do with your boyfriend, or just you?
So I haven't personally eaten here, but my cousin was visiting one time, and I was backstage, so I was like, yeah, I'll come meet you, whatever. She was finishing up eating here. I walked into the cafe for it, and the smell that hit me was very reminiscent of the smell that's a backlot location called the Bistro, which if anyone who's been a team member or on the backlot Universal knows that smell because it's like ingrained into your clothing. The food there is not good, and I'm pretty sure that's what they serve in Cafe 4. So I was just like, I'm good. Like, I'm glad that you had a good time. She had fun seeing the characters. I smelled the food. I was like, how was it? She's like, it's fine. I'm like, cool. I'm going to leave now because this is triggering me. Yeah. I don't know. If you like Marvel, good for you. I can't get over that food, man. And Annie's laughing because she knows that smell. It's very real.
Wow. All right, let's
Kind of a joke about
hold on. We got another super chat from CK Barry 999. Thank you so much. Charlie's reviews are so helpful, and I was telling my daughter today that you're usually pretty mellow and measured, so when you're excited about an item, I can trust it. This is another tangerine treat. So again,
thank you
for
so
the
much.
Super chat.
I know exactly which one you're talking about, and it's just as fantastic as it looks on the video. So thank you.
Yeah, and we will unleash the beast that is Charlie when we get down to the toothsome review as well. So hang on for that one. Yeah, so, the next thing is, and I labeled this Jurassic Repair because I feel like there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. I know that they're like, now, Andy, was all this because of the hurricane? Is that what happened?
The giant hole in the side of the building was from the hurricane, yes. It was actually a pretty cool effect, like the first day, because like the light was shining in and it was almost like Space Mountain with the lights on kind of experience. Like going down the drop, I was looking towards the hole and you could see all the structure of the building. But I'm surprised they just kind of tarped it up and have been running the ride, no problem. But it's down for its annual refurbishment, which, they just kind of drain the water, scrub it, paint it, do all the touch-ups, which they do with all the water rides in the winter. But obviously this was the time that now they're going to be repairing that giant hole in the side of the building. So RIP to that. But yeah, it's exciting, I guess.
And what about the Thunder Falls?
Oh yeah, that had some damage too from the hurricane. The roof on the one side, they had like half the restaurant closed off for a while. Then they attempted to repair it, and I think they must have done like enough of a job that they could open it again, but now they're just closed. It's kind of slower season now, so closed to just kind of fully repair all the things in the roof. And I heard some things that other things will be going down very soon for more repairs from Hurricane Ian. So you want to stay tuned to Universal Parks News today, because I won't tell you yet, but I'll tell you there.
You definitely should stay tuned anyway. I
yeah,
mean, I do.
This is a big one. You'll want to know when this one closes.
Ooh, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is definitely a teaser. Okay, let's move on to the Toothsome, because we have, in Orlando, we've had the Toothsome restaurant, the Toothsome Chocolate Emporium, and now we've got one at City Walk in California. There is the outside of the building there, and the breaking news was that it was opening in late January. Well, Charlie, you've already been there, and I watched your review of it, and I think you even had like the general manager pop in and do a guest spot on your blog.
Yeah. So this is another one where, because I was there in the soft opening and word hadn't really got out yet. Also, it was like 11 a.m. on a Thursday. It wasn't super packed, and the GM was kind of running around fixing things and handling stuff. But he saw I was doing a video and made a point to stop by and told us how the pork was done. They sous vide it and everything and made it really nice. And we got to talking afterwards. He's wonderful. His name is Micah. And they've got such a handle on things, and it's going to be so great to have this in City Walk. It was a great experience. And even outside of the GM, all the team members who were there were so attentive and wonderful. They're all so ready to help and informative. It was really a great experience.
Gotcha. Okay. We've already again had one in Florida, and I've eaten there, and I think it's pretty cool. But one of the things that's really neat about I don't know if this is it a clone? Is it exactly the same, or are there differences? Do we know? Because I don't know, if, Charlie, if you've been to the one in Florida, and Annie,
I haven't
don't
been
think...
to the one in Florida. It is a little bit different because it's just a reskin of the Hard Rock Cafe structure. And I can see, like, from the outside, the gears and stuff. Like, we have a little sign with the two towers up front, but the one in Florida has, like, clockworks and stuff. So there are differences here and there. I don't know about the inside so much. But for what it is, especially as, like, they took the building that was there and they just kind of made it their own, it looks amazing. And inside and out, it's not so heavily themed that it feels, theme parky. Like, it's themed enough, and there's, like, a nice fresco on the ceiling. But for the most part, it's just a nice restaurant. So
Yeah.
It's really well done.
And again, check out the food review that Charlie did, because we look at Toothsome Chocolate Emporium and we think, okay, it's just chocolate and milkshakes and desserts, but some of that stuff that you were eating in there looked absolutely amazing. The entrees looked really good.
Yeah,
so
it was one of the best plates of food I've had in LA. I was absolutely shocked that it was so good. Like, I've eaten at some of the finest restaurants in town, and I would put this on par with a lot of them. It was so creative and so fun. I'm blown away. I've been asking my wife every day, can we please go? And every day she's like, maybe tomorrow. So eventually I'll have to go back.
All right. Well, dude, I'm pulling for you. I hope she says yes. And thanks for giving us that insight into how the dynamic is with your marriage. I appreciate that. And let's go talk about Cafe La Bamba. Here's the thing that I think about Cafe La Bamba is I had not been in it until I did an RIP tour. And I was like, oh, there's actually a thing here. Because when you're in a studios park, you're like, what's a facade? What's actually real? I had never eaten in there. And so now apparently, Annie, they've opened it up again to just go there and eat. They've done, like, mostly just, again, the RIP, the VIP stuff in there. And now you can actually go in and have a meal, right?
Yeah. I know a lot of people were, always curious about what was in there, because, again, it's not always been open to the public. In 2020, it was a rain shelter, and I forgot they had the skeleton bar in there for Halloween Horror Nights, but, there weren't a lot of people going to the park in 2020, so... I think it's been a long time that unless you were doing a VIP or an RIP tour, you just didn't go in there. So it's been like a mystery for a lot of people, but now you can go in there and dine. And I think the menu is great. I really like that. I really like that there's just like, there's a salsa flight, there's chips and queso, there's a lot of like vegan options, there's, there's tacos, there's burritos, there's bowls, there's margaritas. The drinks were so good. That cake, I've been thinking about that cake. That's the only thing that's getting me through the fact that I don't have Toadstool Cafe here, is knowing that I have that cake at Cafe La Bamba to look forward to. But I'm always looking for somewhere to kind of just go and sit and just kind of chill. I'm doing things while I'm in the park, and there's not a lot of places like that. So I felt like Cafe La Bamba, like to go and have a drink and order some like chips and queso and just hang out in there is such like a cool vibe, and not a lot of people know about it, so it's not super crowded either. And I just couldn't believe how good the food was, but I really think that's because that's the food, they're preparing food for the VIPs, so you can go in as a regular day guest and feel like a VIP and eat that food. But the drinks are great. The salsa was great. And the queso is like homemade there. They make the queso there. I love food, in case you guys didn't know. I could talk about food all day.
I love that they call it a salsa flight. That, to me, when I read your review of that, I was like, yes, please. Why hasn't that been a thing that we've seen before? Like a salsa flight, it reminds me of like bread service at Sanaa. Like, yes, let's have all kinds of salsa. Is there a secret salsa? Is there an extra one you can ask for?
I don't know. They should have one.
You should try it. Like, you should see. There should be one.
It.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to the new sign. And I want to say, before I say anything, let's take a look at it. And then, Alicia, I'm going to need to get your take on this new sign, because I know Orlando is your town. When you walk into City Walk, when you come through security, after you've been successfully, searched. They come through, and you get this is your entryway into City Walk, and it was a lot different before. It was this, and it's a little shadowy, but it's this flourished Orlando on there with the Universal logo, and now it's pretty much just says it is what it is. I'm just gonna ask you, Alicia, what are your thoughts?
No, I don't like this. I guess I'm guessing from your reaction you don't really either, Rob.
I don't.
I don't know. I felt like that old sign was pretty iconic, and like it gave me like the warm, fuzzy feelings when I was walking in, seeing that really pretty cursive, and you've got the blue, and it's slanted, and it's like intriguing to look at from like a design standpoint. And I don't know, and it's kind of coming out at you, and then you've got just like this, and it's like you are here essentially, and everything's just like flat, and it's all at like the same baseline, and I'm just like, you're not fun and interesting. Where's my fun and interesting Orlando? Someone bring her back. It's not even a like great color. I don't know. I don't like it. Maybe I don't like change. I don't know.
Annie, why did you let them do this?
I said something was better than nothing, and that's what we got. Sorry. I was tired of looking at nothing. I guess I'm excited for this just because it's better than looking at that empty. I mean, it just looked like holes all throughout. It just looked terrible for so long that I was very happy to see this, but I really don't like it. But I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to have a sign.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I get it. Maybe that was part of their mental game with you, is to go, look, if we just leave it garbage for a long time, by the time we bring back anything, you'll just be happy with it. I don't know. I do a lot of design work, and I look at this, and I'm like, very uninspired. I don't love it. It looks very plain and simple, and it kind of reminds me of what they've gone through over again down the road at Disney, where they've, replacing the iconic purple signs with just average everyday signs. It's just like you had some character. Jason Diffendahl did a show, his Different, and he went on about whimsy, and like that was something cool. That was something neat that you had that Orlando there, and I don't know. I don't know why they had to take it away. I'm sure there was a reason. Maybe they were going to refurbish it, and somebody said, "Hey, let's just make it a little bit more." Easy to read?
Boring.
I don't know.
Boring.
Boring.
Boring's the word we're looking for. Do they have anything like this, Charlie, when you walk into City Walk in California? I don't remember seeing anything like this.
We have a City Walk sign that's really hard to see. It's mostly facing like as you drive up. It is on the back of the walkway, so you can see it if you're coming in from like the very far end parking structure. You can see it, and when everything was shut down during COVID, I shot that sign a lot, and that's the only one that I know of. But we don't, like, you had to drive through LA to get here. You're here. We don't need anything else.
Interesting. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic, which is the Tribute Store is moving. The Tribute Store is something that started out with, I guess, Halloween Horror Nights, and then we saw stuff for Mardi Gras, and we see stuff at Christmas, and we saw the 80s theming that was there before. The Tribute Store has kind of become one of those things that I put on my list when I'm going to Universal Orlando, and I see Alicia's nodding her head the same way. So it's been sitting on the corner down by Jimmy Fallon, and now it looks like that they are moving it. Annie, you've been covering this since the beginning. There's a lot of different shops and things that have been closing. You kind of saw the writing on the wall with this, and do we know why they're moving it?
Not entirely sure, honestly. I don't know if it just has to do with they want more traffic in a different part of the park, if they're planning on putting something bigger where the Tribute Store was, because that would be my guess, would be that there would be maybe an Epic Universe preview center put in that space. So that's my theory and speculation, just from my theme park senses, would be they at the exit of the the holiday tribute store, it was Orlando Preview Center, so that could have been a hint that the Epic Universe Preview Center is going to take over that location at some point. Because that's where we got the hint that the Tribute Store was moving, over towards Hollywood section of the park. So they do put little teasers and hints and things around, and sometimes they're really obvious and people just miss them. Sometimes they're really obscure, but I that's the vibe I'm getting, is that we're going to get something bigger in that location, and that may take longer time. So by moving the tribute store, they can keep doing the theming over and over while working on a bigger project. That's my just thoughts.
I'd be excited for that. I would love to see a preview center for Epic Universe, and a place where you could go, almost like the Blue Sky Cellar that they had at DCA, or actually, and when we talk about the future Universal stuff, they at one point at Myrtle Beach they did a Hard Rock Park, and they had a preview center there that was just an experience as you walk through to see what kind of things were coming. So let's move on to Mardi Gras, because this, Universal kind of, like I was gonna say, Disney kind of owns certain times of the year with the food and wine festivals and things like that, but like when it comes to Universal, they own Halloween, and it seems like they've found their niche with Mardi Gras and what they're offering there. So I don't know, Alicia, is Mardi Gras an important time for you to go to Universal Park? Are you down for the food booths and the parades and all that stuff?
When I was a local, Mardi Gras was like a thing that we made a point to go into the park for. Like, it's a vibe. You've got all of the different concerts, and they normally pull in some really big names. You've got all these different food booths. You've got the parade with the beads, and it really is a super fun time where the park comes alive. I would say just as much as during Halloween Horror Nights. It's just not spooky season. I don't fly down for it. I normally fly down during that time, but I spend my time in Disney. Mostly just because it's I did it a lot when I was a local. But I do think it's something super fun to experience, just like Christmas time or any other special event during the park. It's cool to see it transform, and they do have a lot of offerings if you're there to keep you entertained throughout the day besides just the rides. Mardi Gras is an event, and they do it very well.
So as I'm looking here at and I agree with you, they do concerts, which is something that we see down the road at festivals, but this is more of a relevant concert schedule. You've got Jake, Maren Morris, and Willow, and I would argue probably Lauren Daigle are all relevant current artists, as and then you've got Patti LaBelle and Goo Goo Dolls and Three Doors Down and Sean Paul that are sort of kind of your retro acts. But having Maren Morris, having Willow, having Jake there, I think is a really cool thing. Having these current artists that have hits on the charts and are meaningful concerts to go to. So part of the thing is I when I'm there, I was hoping to see Maren Morris, but I'm not going to be able to make that work. But I mean, she puts on a great show. So if you guys are down there during that time, obviously Mardi Gras starts February 4th, and then the concerts start then, but they're not the same as like an Epcot concert. They're not every night. They're only on certain nights.
No.
So yeah. And Charlie, do they do Mardi Gras at I honestly don't know, in Hollywood?
No, we do Lunar New Year around this time, and it's usually really, really big, and it takes over Universal Plaza, and Kung Fu Panda's there, and they have Mandarin speaking Megatron. They're not doing it quite so big this year. They're only doing one restaurant takeover, to my knowledge, because that already started, and that's the only thing we really have this year. But that's kind of the only thing outside of Horror Nights that they really do. We don't do food festivals or anything like that.
Gotcha. And Annie, I mean, you've covered Mardi Gras all the time, and I'm sure.
Wait, sorry, I gotta ask. You said Mandarin speaking Megatron. Is that what you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a really large section of the attendees at the park at any given time are tourists from Asia, and so especially around this time they come and line up, and so they have from, I guess, Universal Singapore. We have a Singapore one, right? Something like that.
Yes.
They have Megatron, who's in Universal Plaza next to Kung Fu Panda and Tigress, who's speaking Mandarin, and I can't hardly understand Megatron when he's speaking English. I have the few phrases in Mandarin that I'm familiar with, I'm getting absolutely nothing. But there's always a line. People are always excited to see it. and they're conversing with them, and it's really great to see, to have that kind of interaction, you know.
I love that I cut to Andy and she's like, no, whoa, time out. Mandarin speaking. Wait,
Yeah.
Megatron. What? Like, let's get into that. Let's talk about what that is. And you just kind of dropped it like, it's a thing. It's just Mandarin
Yeah,
speaking.
it's
Megatron.
normal
I'm
for
throwing it out
I've had it
there.
forever.
I have an annual pass now. I'm coming back for this.
Yeah, come back and see it. It's pretty cool.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And but before we move on to getting your take on Mardi Gras, we have another super chat from Don Brody Corleone. Got to remind the kids amity means friendship. So thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. Yeah. So with Mardi Gras, Annie, as I was about to say, you cover it all the time. One of the things I want to hear your thoughts on how this year stacks up, what you're excited about, any tips and tricks. But I also have a big question for you about the one thing that kind of takes me by surprise is how big a deal it is to do the float ride. Like, riding on the float seems to be such a huge deal. Exactly. People are freaking out about the idea to do it. And like, so much so that there are dinner packages associated with it. So the same way you'd get priority seating at Disney for something, there are dinner packages so that you can actually get on the float. Is that a big deal? Have you done it before? Or is it like life-changing? Talk to us about that and then your thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, I could never get on the float last year. So
Wow.
I've never ridden a float, but I got the annual pass holder reservation for February 4th. So opening night of Mardi Gras this year, I will be riding a float for the first time ever.
Okay.
So I will be throwing beads. I'm very excited. But I know that if you're coming to the parks and the annual pass holder registration filled up within hours. It was very quick. Even when I went to sign up, obviously, I mean, the second they opened, I was there, and it was a very long process of waiting. I was very concerned that they were filling up, and they're gone now. You can attempt a virtual line to ride a float, but if you had a fail at getting a virtual line for the Grinch, you are probably, traumatized. And so to be able to just book this ride and dine thing where you get the meal and guaranteed to ride the float, it's like a great idea. That's really smart because it's not that expensive. You get your meal included and you're guaranteed to ride the float. So it's almost like when you did the VIP Christmas holiday tour or the breakfast with the Grinch or things like that, where you can, pay a little upgrade, you get the meal and experience as well. So Grinch was very hard to meet at the holidays, and I have a feeling that riding the floats will be very difficult to do the virtual line. So if you're coming and that's important to you, I'd say do the ride and dine thing. It just will save you the stress. But I know that it's very popular to ride the floats. It's a big deal. I'm looking forward to it personally.
So the food, talk about the food. Like overall in years past or last year, what did you think of the food last year, and are you looking forward to more this year?
Of course I want to talk
about it. It's not like we've gotten menus yet.
We haven't. I know.
Annie and I are quietly stressing out about this.
There.
This is literally my job at the website, and the fact that I don't have them almost a week from now is quietly stressing me out. Universal, just do a girl a favor and help me out. That way I can tell Annie what she needs to eat. Okay, thanks.
Right?
Okay.
Just accidentally put the menus up early, please, when I'm going to the park. That sometimes happens. But I'm hoping they bring back the bubble waffle with the ubi ice cream.
Oh.
That's all I want. I'm sure we'll get beignets. Oh, you know what I've heard? This is not official, but I heard that there might be food tents at Islands of Adventure. Not a lot.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
maybe one or two, just to I think that's kind of a smart decision if that happens. That's my theory, but but I'm very excited. I can't wait to see the menus. I'm mad that they put out the concerts before the menus because I personally don't know who any of those people are, but I want to know if the Bubble Waffle's back, please.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like a fun event. I'm gonna go for a little while as well. And you've got the parade, you've got the food booths, you've got the concerts on select nights, and also William K said in chat, Annie, he's gonna be there that night. So if you could just throw him some beads from the parade, he would appreciate it.
Of course.
One last thing I wanted to kind of speak on with regards to Mardi Gras is that they never miss a trick at Universal. Get your photo on a custom prop bottle from Mardi Gras Tribute Store. They've done things like this with, like, I think it was a mausoleum, getting your name on that in Halloween Horror Nights Tribute Store this past time, and old time photos in the past. Annie, I assume you're going to have your mug on one of these bottles, right?
I'm gonna have to. This one looks pretty cool. I'm excited for this, and the price isn't bad. I think it's $79.99, which before they've been $129 and up. So I feel like anything that's under $100 and you get like an actual souvenir. I have all my pictures and stuff hanging up, so like it's not only in the store the entire time, but then you get something afterwards to kind of hold on to.
Well, and it says $79 plus tax, and that includes shipping the bottle to you, which I think is great. So I guess you have to be in park to sign up for one, order one, but then once you're done, they can mail it to you wherever you are. So that's pretty exciting. Apparently in the chat they were saying that Brandy has ridden on the floats before, and so they summoned her in chat, and she says, "I've ridden before and booked to ride twice this year. Ride and Dine on February 4th and an AP spot later in March." So, Brandy, have a great time. We hope to hear all about it from Annie, from Brandy, from anybody else who does it. Let us know how it is riding on the float, and that it is all that, because it definitely seems like it, as quickly as these spots are getting taken up, that everybody's excited about it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to skip the commercial break and just power through to our final discussion here, which is about the future of Universal, because this is one of the things that kind of inspired me to say, hey, look, we need a whole episode for Universal. Not that we don't already, and it's been suggested in chat, maybe we do one a quarter that's all about Universal. We try during ParksCenter. If you don't usually join us for ParksCenter, and we hope you will, it's on Sunday nights, except not next Sunday, and I'll tell you why at the end. But usually we will, we'll bring Annie on or Charlie on and have you guys give us some kind of boots on the ground conversations about Universal and some updates about what's going on there. So we appreciate it. But when I saw all this stuff about what was coming and all the announcements that they made, I was like, no, we gotta talk about this. And one thing that occurred to me, and this is why I begged Alicia to be on here tonight, is because I know that she is, and I've mentioned this, a Universal fangirl. But at the same time, there's Disney adults. People don't say Universal adults because they just say adults, right? They just go, oh, you're just an adult because you like Universal, because they have Halloween Horror Nights, and that's not a kid thing, and they have all of this IP like Fast and the Furious and Jurassic Park and all of these other more adult IP, and it's the thing that they actually had a whole campaign around. You're old enough now to have a real vacation and come to Universal and that kind of stuff.
Gosh,
you don't remember that?
Those. I forgot.
Right. So that's the thing, is we're not really it's just, you're just a Universal fan. You're not like a Universal adult or whatever. It's just funny to me that that's a thing. But we're all still in love with theme parks. That at the end of the day, that's kind of what we all do. And so they made some huge announcements. One of which, I know, Alicia, has you probably just booking a flight to LA or to Las Vegas, which is they announced that there's going to be a Halloween Horror Nights experience year-round in Las Vegas. When you heard this, did you immediately book a trip? And tell me what your thoughts are on this thing.
No, but I actually almost cried. So for those who don't know, I also love Vegas, and I'm normally out there once a year, if not more. Either for various work trips as I'm in the industry, or just because I need to gamble. So I'm already in Las Vegas. I already love the Strip, and then to like top it off and add Halloween Horror Nights, and it's only going to be like 15 minutes off Strip. Like if I could book a trip right now to know the opening date, like I absolutely would. I saw the announcement, and I like ran to my boyfriend and I showed him. And then I quick texted my father, and he was like, "My birthday's coming up," and I'm like, "Well, I don't know if it'll be open for that, but like yes." Like, yes, we were going to Vegas. Yes, we were going to gamble. Yes, we were going to get scared. And this is like they've put everything that I love within like a half an hour of each other. And I'm just like, it's perfect. It's great. I can drink, I can gamble, and I can go to Horror Nights. Book the trip. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
yeah,
go.
I mean, Charlie, you could drive to this. Will you be driving to this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Halloween Horror Nights is fantastic. My dad and I, for many years, designed haunts all over LA for charities and stuff, and so it's a 4-hour drive. Like we'll just leave early in the morning and go for opening day. It's going to be awesome. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm not super excited about Nintendo World, but I'm excited about this.
Now, see, those are fighting words on this panel, my friend. I can't believe you would say that, but I know you said pre-show that Annie had to school you on that stuff. Annie, what are your thoughts on this one?
Oh, I can't even believe it. It's such a smart idea that I just can't wait to see it in person. I mean, again, just making these smart moves, these decisions that, they know what their audience wants and they're really trying to deliver. And if they don't have the space here, they're going to put it somewhere else, apparently.
Right, that's the thing.
Where people want to go.
Well, there you go. That too.
I mean, not Vegas. I'm just, they're putting this exactly where somebody needs to go. I was really more talking about the next topic, which was,
So real quick, I want to say, so like as a history of a company, like everyone's always been really excited when like a new ride or a new park or something gets announced. When this got announced, I've never seen so many WWNT staffers be like, "Oh, I'm going to opening day." It's not like, "Oh, who's going to cover this?" It's like, who won't be there to cover this at this point? Like, it's gonna be a company spectacular trip at this point, and I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's one of those where everything that you all said, when I heard it, I was like, smartest move I've ever heard. And yes, do that. It'll be interesting to see the longevity of it because, we know that Disney's having problems with the Star Cruiser because everybody got to see it. And then they're like, are they going back? And, the other people who don't go there and all that stuff. But I do know that when I go to Vegas, which is not often, I've usually gone for work and I went once just to see Donnie and Marie, don't judge me. But when I was going, when I think about Vegas, like I want to do those little touristy things that are there because, and some people have been like, I love Disney. I feel like Disney and Vegas have a lot in common, the glitz and the glamour and the over the top and the tourism and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm down for it. I'm excited to see it. Yeah, I agree with you on that front about they're putting it somewhere where people will already be. And again, it's adults will be there who love probably Halloween Horror Nights and then will go and experience this. And that's awesome. The thought I had of putting things where people want to go, I'm not really sure that I have a lot of reason to go to Texas. No hate on Texas, except for, Cowboys because I'm a Washington Commanders fan. But other than that, there is an announcement about this new regional park that they're doing, and it's very vague on what they're doing. Obviously, some of the areas look like, we feel like we can pick them out. Like the entranceway looks like it's sort of the Dreamworks logo, and we look like, maybe on that right side that would be sort of the Trolls IP, and in the upper corner, maybe we're looking at like a Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous kind of a thing. And then, How to Train Your Dragon has been mentioned as a possibility here. So this is an interesting take, though, to build it in Texas. I know that Disney had a park they were going to build called Disney's America. They bought land in right outside of D.C. It was going to go there. And then the city of Katy, Texas, was like, hey, if you guys aren't going to build it there, you should come build it here. We have pretty good environments in California and Florida for year-round theme parks. A lot of these regional parks that are open most of the year. I don't know, this is going to be a little bit different, but I do know that they tried to do a Universal park called the Hard Rock Park in in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And like I said, I went to the preview center. The park opened and almost immediately closed, and then got bought by another company that made it Freestyle Music Park and opened it back up again temporarily. And then I believe it went out of business from there. So I hope this works. But it sounds like, and again, hearing Tom talk about it on the Universal Parks News today, he's like, don't get too excited about this because this is mostly going to be kind of a Legoland model. So, I mean, Annie, are you already packing your bags, or are you like trying to temper your expectations here?
I mean, you say Camp Cretaceous, and I'm there. I'm packing my bags. That's like my Super Nintendo world. No.
There you go.
I think it's an interesting location. I don't think of that as being like somewhere tourists would generally go, like Vegas. People are going to be in Vegas, like tourists are already there. But I'm not sure what I think about it because, at the theme parks, there's not a lot for babies, infants, even young kids to go to. Like, again, Universal kind of is geared towards like you said, like once you're grown up enough for a vacation, like a lot of the rides have height requirements. Disney, it's very, you can hold your baby on this ride. There's no lap bars, things like that, whereas Universal isn't. So something that's geared towards young, children, families with, smaller kids, I think that's a really good idea. I just don't personally know why the choice of the location, unless it really is just going to be geared towards locals. And then even then, like, don't you run out of the ability of locals to continue coming to your parks? Like, that's why something like Hollywood needs to continue adding, because they need their locals to come in. They change their menus more frequently or add things, because that is more of a local park. Whereas, Florida, Orlando, we get from every corner of the planet, and we don't like to change things because, we want it to be the same cupcake that the tourists saw in an ad, we posted 10 months ago. So we don't want to change anything because people are still coming. Whereas other parks, which I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, but again, like if this is in Texas, like, what is going to keep people coming back? Is it going to have to continually change if it's a local crowd? And if it's geared towards tourists, then great. But I just don't see that location as being, unless it's just kind of like a test to see how it plays out and then plans to add something somewhere else. I'm just kind of taking, this is big news that I didn't see it coming, so I'm still processing it myself.
Absolutely. And before we move on, Charlie?
I mean, good on them for breaking the mold and breaking away from the Golden Coastlines. I think the rest of the country could probably use something other than, Cedar Fair stuff, or Six Flags stuff. Like there are other, Six Flags came out of Texas. There are workable regional parks in other parts of the country, and I think they work in going for something that is family friendly, a little bit smaller. They're not announcing these, gigantic things yet. They all look to be pretty manageable. May very well be, like you said, the Legoland version, the Legoland model, where, it's going to be a regional park rather than a world-class park like Universal Orlando or Universal Hollywood.
Yeah, and Renee says in chat, Texas is centrally located for people in the middle, from Florida, California. That's right. I mean, it is centrally located, but it's interesting. It's an interesting choice to go all kids in a brand that has been more for adults, and to do that as a park here, as opposed to something that they built adjacent to an existing park. Like it maybe would have been better to say, oh, like let's go ahead and send them to, make a little park off the side of Epic Universe and have it be part of that day that, maybe there's something for the kids and something like that. So I don't know. I more is better for me. When they're going to be making more, I'm not complaining at all. Let's do more. Like, open this up. Let's see what happens. I would like to go see it. I don't have small kids, but it would be neat to go and see this park. But if it is what we think it is, I may not ever go see it, but I mean, again, more is better, and for families with small kids, I know when my kids were small, going to a Universal Park was hard because there weren't very many things that they could do other than the Kid Zone, which leads us into our next topic, that the Kid Zone is now closed at Universal Orlando, the land that had Curious George, Woody Woodpecker, Barney at one point, and of course, the new DreamWorks destination and Fievel now have very topical, kids products, right? Barney and Fievel. Now I'm looking, now we're looking at the fact that they've put up these walls, and the walls all have these DreamWorks characters on them, while we're looking at this park in Texas and we're thinking, wait a minute, is this also going to be DreamWorks? We're seeing things like Kung Fu Panda here. We've got Trolls, just lots of different DreamWorks characters that are on these walls. So, Annie, you've seen these firsthand. Do you have thoughts, things you could tell us?
I mean, DreamWorks Destination took away Barney, so I'm still angry. And now DreamWorks is apparently taking away everything else I love. So not that excited for it. But I think I had heard a lot of rumors about DreamWorks, about, Trolls Dark Ride, water, it's like a small world kind of thing. I've heard so many things before Kid Zone closed. And again, rumors, things change, all that kind of stuff. But seeing the characters on the wall is definitely like, okay, I think this is what's really happening here. I don't know. I don't think DreamWorks. A lot of the characters that are on that wall, can you name them? I mean, yes. There are a lot of great films. There are a lot of ones that are on there that, I'm like trying to Google the description of, okay, this is what
all right,
they
so this
look
is
like.
This is obviously, we've got How to Train Your Dragon here. This is Shrek is here. This one is the Sherman
Peabody
and
Mr. Peabody.
Yeah, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. And then you've got Kung Fu Panda here, and then Trolls, and then what is this one from again? Well, there's Megamon.
Captain Underpants.
Oh, so that's
the kids from
that's
Captain
from?
Underpants.
Which
Yeah,
is
Captain
also this
Underpants,
one.
and the dog is from the new Puss in Boots movie, and then that's the bad guys,
and this is
that's
Spirit, right?
Spirit.
The
Spirit,
horse.
Stallion, the
Yeah.
Cimarron, but it's the Netflix spin-off series, not the original cool one. And the Croods, and more Kung Fu
Oh.
Panda, and the Penguins.
Okay,
Don't mess
you
with Charlie.
proved me wrong.
Don't mess with Charlie.
All right,
He's
you
got it.
proved me wrong.
I have a 2-year-old.
But you know what? Again,
the scary part is I'm not 2 and I knew most of that. So
yeah,
that's
same,
where we're at.
same. I don't have 2-year-olds either, and same, because I love animation and DreamWorks stuff that they do. I've seen Captain Underpants, Spirit. I saw the original movie. I haven't watched the Netflix thing, but yeah, I like the
Home
Trolls
was
movies. I
on
thought they were
there?
good.
I think Home was on there. Monsters
Okay.
vs.
Home,
Aliens. Abominable. I saw Monsters vs. Aliens, but
That was the weird one. That
I like that one.
If
It
they
looks
could
like
bring
she's
back
Wrong with
the Jimmy Neutron Nicktoons Blast, but with DreamWorks characters, and put it down this way, I think we're good, right? To put them all
That
in
would
one.
actually be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff we're gonna miss about Kid Zone. I mentioned this before. It seemed like an insurance nightmare that you could go into a big place, drop a bunch of plastic balls into a gun, and shoot them at little kids. But that's something that they let you do. And then the same thing at the Fievel's Playland. There was a fun water ride, like the water slide that they had there. So there were some neat things there, but it definitely looked dated and some of that. I loved going into the Barney, like you go into that back area where like it was the exit to the show, but they had all of the stuff that like the water. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what comes here. We'll keep an eye on it, but that is again something coming in the future and may tie into this Texas park. The other thing that we got more information about since last we met as a group was that Minions are taking over the entrance to Universal Orlando when you walk in, and it's going to be Minions Land when you walk in. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Alicia, are you excited about Minions?
I love the talking Tic Tacs. I love Despicable Me. I love Minions. I'm
Okay.
5 essentially. I think that they're fun and they're silly and they're whimsical, and that's what I want when I'm going to a theme park anyway. So yeah, bring it on. I know that like so many people are against this But like, I'm in for the ride. Like, sure, put me on a moving walkway and I'll shoot stuff. Like, let me be a minion. I'm all about this. I don't know why. I love the property, and I mean, they're already kind of doing this anyway. It was slowly turning into it, so this is kind of the next step anyway. So
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
here
weird to me
for
because
it.
I feel like a lot of people seem to be over Minions, but then some people have doubled down on Minions, I guess, along the way.
Oh, I'm
I think that
doubling down.
I love the Shrek IP. I didn't love the Shrek 4D, like that seat that just
Yeah.
shook the ever living heck out of you. I didn't necessarily love it. I feel like Shrek could have had something better, and maybe Shrek will when it comes to either this new park or this back area of the Kid Zone. But I know that Annie, there's got to be some bitterness between you and the Minions if they're taking over your beloved Monsters Cafe.
Yes, I'm so angry. And I walked into Minions Cafe in Hollywood and I just thought, this is why Monsters Cafe died. I'm so heartbroken. It's terrible. I mean, obviously ours is going to be much bigger than the one out in Hollywood, but I'm very angry. I'm upset about Shrek. I'm upset about Monsters Cafe. I'm trying to like Minions, though. I feel like I have to learn to put up with them. So I'm gonna watch the movie. The new one, The Rise of Gru. I turned it on the airplane and then I fell asleep 3 minutes in. But those 3 minutes, they
What a
captivated
glowing
me.
recommendation that was. Can't wait to get your full review of that one if you ever make it all the way to the end. Charlie, is the 2-year-old set still all about some Minions?
No, we actually, one of the agreements that we made as a family before we had a kid is that he does not get to know about the existence of Minions. I hate them with a fiery passion. I cannot stay. There's no child property that drives me more insane. Both of my sisters were really into the Minions, and they spoke like that for like 15 years, and it's like nails on a chalkboard. I hate it so much. So I've told everybody in my family, you are not allowed to show him the Minions, Despicable Me, anything like that. Like, he's never been to the Minion Cafe. He gets to go through the play park, and when he asks what these guys are, I'm like, they're just lazy kids who don't talk. Just let them lay there, and like, we're just gonna keep moving.
Wow.
Like, yeah, like we do not do Minions in my house. I cannot stand them. So if you guys if I have to suffer through it, you should have to suffer through it too. Have your meatball grilled cheese and be as upset as I am.
I'm just picturing like, hey, Charlie, we babysat your kid. Here he is. Oh, you pierced his nose? I guess that's okay. He was looking for a new look. Oh, you let him watch Minions? I will come at you. Like, I mean,
Oh yeah,
is it that level?
it really is. Like, the same kind of thing with Paw Patrol, and my mom slipped up and showed him Paw Patrol, and so we just had to deal with that. But like, I can get by with that one. The Minions, like, I can't function if it's on. If I hear those voices, it's like just shaking like
Okay.
barbarian rage. I get an extra D4 with everything.
Okay. Sun's getting real
Oh.
low, big guy. Sun's
I
getting real low, big
genuinely
guy.
sing the banana song like once a week. I'm not like, me and the banana song are like this.
No,
Wow.
no.
All right.
Oh.
So in Hollywood, we have Super Nintendo is February 17th. That's where all their money went, and we're excited about that. And we've got Minions and perhaps Dreamworks. We don't know coming to Florida, but we definitely are going to have Mardi Gras as a Band-Aid over top of all of that to forget our woes, and that's going to be great. We've got this new park in Texas, which we can love or hate, but that's okay. We either go or we don't. And then we've got, obviously, the Halloween Horror Nights experience in Vegas that we're all excited about. There's also the Spain rumor is that they're going to back to Port Aventura to go and basically buy the whole thing back, we think. So that'll be another thing. I can't wait for Annie to go take her trip to the grand opening of Universal Port Aventura when it gets rebranded. And then, of course, we've been giving updates from Japan along the way too. So the next thing that we really, I mean, I guess the final thing is that's still looming is Epic Universe, right? So we have a brand new third theme park. I'm going to call it a third theme park because Volcano Bay does not a theme park make. A third theme park looming for Florida, and as excited as I am about it, I'm also tempering my expectations because it's a long way off. And as we know from Universal, usually they'll give the big announcement and then they'll spare details until they're ready. And so I don't know that we're going to see much. I mean, we have rumors. They have not confirmed any of the lands to my knowledge, but we know they're building this Donkey Kong roller coaster. We know that they're building, a Super Nintendo world, that there's a Universal Monsters, Classic Monsters area, that we're going to see a How to Train Your Dragon, a Ministry of Magic situation for Harry Potter. So those are all things that I'm all on board about, all of those. And it sounds like, thankfully for Charlie, doesn't sound like they're planning on any more Minions coming to that particular park.
Thank God.
So
that means I'll actually go.
So the one thing, though, that, I mean, we really haven't had any new news about that except for this, and it's that the Sunrail is going to get a little bit of the land that they have, so that you can actually take this Sunrail to a Sunrail station that's going to be right outside of Epic Universe. Annie, do you think this is a game changer, letting this happen?
Oh yeah. I mean, just the convenience factor. People will probably book trips, or plan trips just because of the convenience. Like, it's such a smart move. Again, whoever is making these decisions for Universal, I wish I could sit there and watch, because everything that's been coming out lately, I'm just like, wow, good timing. This is the time to make these moves, and I think this is really going to be a big thing.
Well, and I mean, and the competition's going to have to step up, right? I mean, somebody mentioned in chat that maybe Epic Universe is coming quicker than Tron did, which is not necessarily wrong. I mean, they're building a whole theme park, and it could open up in less time than it took to do Pandora, to do Tron. So it's really, you really got to wonder. There's a lot of rumor stuff that they dropped for D23 at that Josh talked about. What if we did this? What if we did that? But there's no, there's nothing that says that they're going to do Zootopia, Moana, Encanto, all these new lands. But I mean, it feels like with all the stuff that Universal just dropped, man, I would be ready for Destination D to start talking about some serious stuff. And I think we've talked about in the past, like, Epcot is taking forever to renovate. Obviously, COVID played a part in that. And then you've got, Tron and some things like that. They're taking a long time. So it's really neat to see Universal, like, up their game to this level. And the Sunrail thing, the trains seem like they're an ever changing conversation about, are they going to do one near Disney Springs? No, they're not going to do one. But this looks like they're dedicating some land, and like this could actually happen. So that's great. You've gotten rid of the Magical Express, but there's this train that goes right to this new Epic Universe place I've been hearing so much about. Let me just do that instead, right from the airport. That'd be great. We also have one last super chat here, and I think it's pretty important because William K. has put out another super chat. Charlie's Minion rant was the best. Well done. Tell us how you really feel next time. So thank you, Charlie. Thank you,
Thank
William.
you very much. I'm glad my vitriol and stomach aches are amusing to everybody.
Everybody loves your pain is basically the thought process there. So we've had a big night. We've talked again from start to finish. This has all been about Universal, but well deserved, because Universal is making some big strides all over the place, and we're excited about the things that they're doing. I don't think there's any of these things, even though we may not be over the moon about this park in Texas. It's exciting to think, what's it going to be? What's going to happen? And even though the Minions took over the Monsters Cafe, and even though that Barney has been shorted by DreamWorks, there's still some interesting things that could be coming. So I just want to get final thoughts from everybody for the night, and and you could talk about what's coming in the future, or wherever you want to go with this. But we'll start with Charlie this time and work our way around the dais here.
So I'm excited for the future. Everything we didn't really talk about the Fast and Furious coaster. I hate that idea. But other than that, everything that they've announced sounds really cool, and I think they're moving in the right direction. I don't know if it's necessarily a Disney killer, but it's definitely going to be another option. And I think what the future looks bright, and I'm excited to be able to see all of this stuff. I'm actually going to have to fly out to Florida for Epic Universe. Not going to fly to Texas. But I think it's going to be good.
Okay. Annie?
This is a great time to be a Universal fan. I think every announcement is just like another win, except for Kids Zone going away. But other than that, and Monsters Cafe, which you keep
Right.
having to remind me, the Minions and
Sorry.
Monsters Cafe.
Sorry.
Tolerate the Minions. I'm gonna try to do it myself. Charlie, you don't have to tell your son, but maybe you should tolerate them too. Maybe we just have to learn to live with them. I'm excited for new destinations, Universal getting new cities, new places for people to explore, new experiences that are beyond theme parks, it sounds like, and I'm very happy that I'm here and able to bring you guys the news, because it sounds like it's going to be exciting. And the other theme parks need to show something and not just talk about it, because we seem to be showing and not telling here. So that's all I got to say.
Very cool. I love it. And Alicia, bring us home.
Yeah, I mean, kind of piggybacking off of that, Annie, like, you're right that they have been showing, not telling lately, or whatever, whatever we're trying to go for with that phrase. But like with Iger back, and with watching Universal do all of these, changes and making all these announcements, it's kind of time for him to say, all right, Shapek's gone. We're gonna, we're new management. We're gonna step in and start making changes. We're gonna make more announcements, and we haven't seen that yet, So it's a fun time to be a theme park fan. It's a fun time to be a Universal fan. I'm excited for the future. I hope that they do the Spain park, and I'll see y'all in Vegas, because I'm going.
Well, I hope they get the menus to you for Mardi Gras sooner than later, because I know you're stressing hard on that. So it would be great. Make sure to tune in to Universal Parks News Today. So it's universalparksnewstoday.com for everything happening at Universal. There's a lot of news that we cover on a daily basis. These folks are out there beating the streets, making sure that you have the latest information, tips, tricks, all that kind of stuff. So please make sure to keep with them. Keep with us on ParksCenter. We'll continue to share Universal news with you. Please tell us after this video is over, tell us in the chat below, or the comments below, what you're most excited about seeing coming to Universal. I'd love to get your feedback on that. Also want to give a shout out to our wigs, WDWNT Interglobe Society. We love you guys so much. We love our wigs. That is our Patreon. If you don't know about it, you can go find out more at patreon.com/WDWNT. There is a quick post show after this where you get to talk to the Universal team here. So it's very exciting. And then one last thing is that next week we will not have a ParksCenter. So as I'm saying, don't ever miss a Sunday night ParksCenter. Next week there is not a ParksCenter because the team will be in California for the 100 Years of Wonder celebration, and there will be a lot of content. So, stay tuned to WDWNT for so much content coming out of there. Then I know Tom's hanging out at the pass holder preview for Super Nintendo World, so you'll want to see the coverage of that. And then much, much more coming your way. So we will stay your parks connection. But we want to make sure that you guys know we won't be here next week, but we'll be back the week after that to talk all things Disney. We'll be talking Universal, and hopefully you'll take the ride with us. So thank you guys again on the panel here. Great information. Love talking to you guys, and everyone else. We will see you real soon. Have a great night. Have a great week.